Hello, my lovely kids. You are welcome again to another Cafdil Science lessons. My name is Ernest Atto Bento. Kate, in the previous lesson, we looked at birds. We talked about what a bird is, some examples of birds, and some features of birds. Today, the lesson is still on birds, but we are going to look at benefits of birds to humans. Benefits of birds to humans. If you cast your mind back to the previous lesson, looking at the examples of birds that we talked about, do you think birds are beneficial to us, or do you think we get anything from birds? And that is what we are going to look at today. But before we do that, let's mark the homework you were given on harmful and useful insects. 1. State any 3 examples of birds. State any 3 examples of birds. And then we have parrot, we have hen, and then we have duck. So these are 3 examples of birds. So any other example that you wrote that are not captured here, you are correct. 2. Mention 3 features of a bird. Mention 3 features of a bird. The first one, we said birds have beaks, or birds have a beak. Birds also have wings, and then birds have 2 legs. So if you were able to write these or others that are not captured here, you are correct. Now let's move on to today's topic on benefits of birds to us. Benefits of birds to us. Let's look at our lesson objectives first. At the end of the lesson, you will be able to explain 4 benefits of birds to humans. 4 benefits of birds to humans. So at the end of the lesson, you'll be able to explain 4 benefits that we get from birds. Good. Now let's start the lesson on benefits of birds to us. 1. We eat the meat of bird as food. We eat the meat of bird as food. As you see the boy there enjoying the chicken, we eat the meat of bird as food. So okay, some of the examples of birds we eat the meat are, we have hen, we have guinea fowl, and then we have duck. Hen, guinea fowl, duck. We eat the meat of these birds as food. The meat serves as a source of food, that is protein, to humans. So when you eat chicken, the meat gives you nutrients called protein. So if you look at the rice and chicken there, if you look at the rice and chicken here, if you look at the soup here with chicken meat, and then you look at my friend here enjoying the chicken meat, you see he's really happy. Yes, he's so mad about the meat. It tastes good. Yes, all his actions tell us that the meat tastes good. So kids, we eat the meat as food. The meat serves as a source of protein. When we eat the meat of birds, we get the nutrients known as protein. So birds are beneficial to us, or they are useful to us, because we use their meat as food. Eggs of birds serve as food for us. Apart from the meat, the eggs also serve as food for us. Kids, I believe you all like eggs. You enjoy eating eggs. When you get the egg, you can either fry it or you can boil it. So in the morning, you can get when you are eating your breakfast, you get your tea, you get your bread, and then you fry some egg and then eat with the bread. Some also like it boiled. And as you see on the screen, the egg can be fried or boiled and eaten. So the eggs of birds serve as food for us also. And you also get protein from the eggs. I believe you like eggs. I also like eggs. So birds give us eggs to eat as food. So normally when you go to school or when you get your meal, you put your egg on top. So if you look on the screen, we have some rice and some eggs. The person going to take this meal is really going to enjoy 3 eggs. I don't know whether the person is celebrating his birthday. He has 3 eggs on the food. So eggs of birds serve as food for us to eat. So 1, we eat the meat, and then 2, we eat the eggs also. So kids, some of the examples of birds we eat the eggs as food. We have the hen, we have the duck, we have the turkey. Most of us are familiar with the eggs of hen. Some also enjoy the eggs of duck and then the turkey. So these are some examples of eggs that we can eat as food from the birds. Kids, apart from the eating of the eggs, we can also use it for making cakes. So eggs are used for making cakes and then pancakes, as you see on your screen. So this is a birthday cake, and then this is also a pancake. And they all use eggs in making these cakes. I believe you all love cakes and then pancakes as well. So you see that the eggs are useful to us. We eat them and then we use it to prepare other things that we can also enjoy. So we get a lot of benefit from the eggs of birds. Birds spread seeds. Bird spread seeds. So let's look at what is meant by birds spread seeds. Birds like eating seeds. So if you look at this bird here, you can see that this bird is eating a guava. And you know that guavas they have a lot of seeds inside. The fruit has a lot of seeds inside. So let's watch this example very well. This bird is eating this guava, which contains many seeds. Okay, after eating the seeds, what happens? When the bird fly to another place, they disperse, that is spread some of the seeds through their droppings, that is their feces, and the seeds grow into new plants. So that is what is meant by bird spread seeds. So when the birds fly after eating the fruit that contains seeds, the bird will fly to another place, and some of the seeds through their droppings will make new plants. So let's see this example. This bird, after eating the seeds, just drop some feces, and then the bird will fly away. Because the feces contain some seeds, the seeds would just germinate into plants if the seeds fall on good soil. So that is meant by bird spread seeds. Let's look at it again. The bird, after eating the guava, will just fly to another place, and through the droppings, you saw that the bird dropped some feces on the ground, and because it contains some seeds, the seeds, after getting all the necessary conditions, will germinate into new plants. Let's watch it for the last time. So the bird, after eating the guava, dropped some feces It drops into the soil and then it will fly away. After some time, after getting good conditions, the seeds will germinate into new plants. So birds help to spread seed. Sometimes, maybe where the bird eats the guava, there are plenty of that plant over there. But where the bird will drop the feces, there wouldn't be any guava plants there. But you see that a guava will just germinate and that place will start having the guava plants. Meanwhile, no human being planted that guava, but it is the bird that was able to do that for us. So birds spread seeds. After eating some fruits that contain seeds, they fly to another place, and through their droppings, some of the seeds will germinate into new plants. So after enjoying their meat and eggs as food, they also help us grow new plants. Good. The third one is that birds pollinate flowers. Birds pollinate flowers. So, Kate, as we talked about when we were talking about insects, the same way insects help pollinate flowers of plants, birds also do the same. And a bird like hummingbird help in the pollination of flowers. If you remember when we were talking about birds in the last lesson, we talked about the hummingbird as a bird that flies backwards. The bird flies backwards. So the hummingbird help in the pollination of flowers. And the same way that insects pollinate flowers, that is the same way they also help pollinate flowers. So let's go over it. The pollination, as we talked about, is the movement of pollen grains from the male anther of a flower to the female stigma. So this is the flower, as we talked about. So the anther, this is the anther. So that's the male part. And we have about 6 of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this anther contains what we call pollen grains. It's in the form of a powder, pollen grains. So these pollen grains are found in the male part, that is the anther. So you see the pollen grains falling down, the pollen grains. So this is what we call the pollen grains. And this is the anther, the male part. And this part that you see here also contains an egg, and that is the female part. So this is the female part of the flower, the female part of the flower, and it contains some eggs. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eggs inside. So these pollen grains must join the eggs here so that we can get fruits. That is what pollination is about. When the pollen grains join the eggs in the female parts through the stigma, then we have what? Fruits to eat. So let's look at this example of how pollination takes place. So the pollen grains enter the stigma of the flower, that's the female part, and it will go and join the egg. And when the egg and the pollen grain comes together, they will develop into fruits. So all the fruits that we eat passes through what we call pollination. All the fruits that we eat, and after some time we get fruits like orange on your screen. So we get the fruits and we get the seeds as well. So Kate, pollination is important because it leads to the production of fruits, as we saw, and seeds that will create more plants. And this pollination is being done by some birds. This pollination is being done by some birds. So the pollination helps us to get fruits and then seeds that will help us create more plants. the same way insects like bees and butterflies also help in pollination. So this is a hummingbird. This is a hummingbird, and this bird flies backwards. So this is a hummingbird pollinating a flower. They don't go there with the main aim of going to pollinate a flower, but as we did with insects, they visit a flower to suck the nectar. That's a substance made of water and sugar. So insects and birds, they go and suck the nectar of that flower, and by so doing, since the pollen grains are sticky, some will stick on their bodies, their beaks, and then when they fly to another flower like this one, if this bird flies, they will release some pollen grains, and then it will join the egg and it will develop into a fruit. So let's look at it again. This bird will fly. Some pollen grains will stick on the beak, and then they will drop it through the stigma of the flower, and then they will join the egg and it will develop into a fruit. As we talked about when we were talking about insects, I cannot visit flower to flower, picking pollen grains and then putting it or joining it to the egg. You cannot also do that. So these birds help us to get fruits and then seeds to plant more fruits. Good. Let's go to the third one. Birds control pests. Birds control pests. When we're talking about useful and harmful insects, we said that some insects also eat other insects that destroy crops. In the same way, birds also help to eat insects that destroy crops. Not only crops, or insects that can be harmful to us, like houseflies and other insects. When it rains, you see that we have some insects that normally comes when you on the light at night. Some of these birds help eat some of these insects away. So birds help control pests. So they eat insects that destroy crops or insects that can be harmful to us. Birds clean up the environment. Birds clean up the environment. How do they do that? Birds clean up the environment. Vultures eat dead animals to prevent the spread of diseases. Vultures eat dead animals to prevent the spread of diseases. So you see that vultures eat dead things. So if an animal dies, these birds will eat the dead body of the animal so that it will vanish from the surface of the ground. If these birds were not around, what will happen? The dead animals, their bodies will can spread diseases to us. So they clean the environment for us. Vultures eat dead animals to prevent the spread of diseases. So by eating dead animals, vultures help to clean the environment. They help to clean the environment by eating dead animals. So you see, Kate, birds are useful to us. We enjoy their meat and eggs as food. They help protect our crops. They help clean our environment. So you see how useful birds are to us. Good. Birds' feathers are useful. Birds' feathers are also useful. When we're talking about the features of a bird, we said that their bodies are covered with feathers, and the feathers are useful to us. How useful are they? People use birds' feathers to make pillows, as you see here. They use it to make pillows. So these pillow is filled with feathers of birds, and we also use it to decorate hats. You also use it to decorate hats. Now I believe that when some people's ears are also itchy, they take feathers and they enjoy. See that they will be using the feathers in their ears, and somebody will tell you it's very sweet. So people use bird feathers to make pillows, decorate birds, or even use it to scratch their itching ears. So these are some of the uses of birds' feathers for decoration. We use it for decoration or making pillows. Okay, some people also use birds as pets. When you looked at the examples of birds, we saw the parrot, and people use the parrot as pets. So when you go to some homes, you can see a cage there with a parrot. And parrots can talk. Parrots can talk, so people use them as pets, that is, as a companion that makes them happy. An example of such a bird is a parrot. So we eat their meat as food, they clean our environment, they protect our crops, and they make us happy too. So birds are very useful to us. Okay, we are almost at the end of the lesson on benefits of birds to us. Let's go over what we talked about. He said, one, we use their meat as food, and the food gives us the nutrients called protein. They also help us to spread seeds from one place to another through their droppings, and that gives us new plants when the seeds fall into good soil. They also help us in pollination, and pollination helps us to get fruits and seeds that will help us germinate or grow more plants. They also help to control pests on our farms. They eat insects that are harmful to crops and we humans as well. We can also use it for decoration, like the hat you see, and we can also use it to fill pillows. And lastly, we said it can be used as a pet. For example, is the parrot, as a parrot. Good. Now, Kate, let's test ourselves on the lesson. 1. We can get all the following foods from birds, except we can get all the following foods from birds, except we have meat, we have eggs, and then we have feathers. Good. The answer is feathers. Feathers cannot be used as food. You can get their meat and eggs. 2. The feathers of a bird can be used for making. The feathers of a bird can be used for making. We have pillows, we have chairs, and we have books. Good. The answer is pillows. 3. Birds help with the dash of flowers. Birds help with the dash of flowers. So what is going to replace the dash? We have watering, we have pollination, we have weeding. Great. The answer is pollination. 4. Which of the following birds can be kept as pets? Which of the following birds can be kept as pets? We have eagle, we have parrot, we have vulture. Great. The answer is parrot. And last, the bird which eats dead animals to make the environment clean is called. The bird which eats dead animals to make the environment clean is called. We have hen, we have vulture, we have duck. Good. The answer is vulture. You have all done well. The answer is vulture. Now, Kate, let's take this homework. State any 3 benefits of birds to humans. State any 3 benefits of birds to humans. So Kate, I'm giving you a minute to write this homework down. A minute to write this homework down. Good. I believe we are all able to write the homework down. Kate, we have come to the end of this lesson on benefits of birds to us. Right now we talked about birds, examples, features, and now you know the benefits that we can get from birds. We can get their meat as food, they keep us happy as pets, they protect our crops, and so on. So from today, I believe you will appreciate the birds that we find around us. Learn hard, and until we meet again next time, this is your teacher, Ernest Ato Bento. Bye-bye.